Hey, Crossgates. I'm back from vacation. I had a good break. I went down and celebrated 28 years of marriage with Missy. She'll keep me for one more year, it seems, and I'm very thankful to God for that. Thankful for just a time apart. I enjoyed just getting away, and for those of you who are wondering, did I get sunburned at the beach? See, you don't get sunburned if you actually don't go to the beach. Missy and Gabby tan. Trey does not. And so I went to the beach one day in the evening, and then I stayed on nature trails in the evening. But most of the time, I slept. And then I got up to eat. And then I went and napped. And then I ate. And then I slept. That's what I do when I'm on vacation. Nothing. So Crossgates, it's good to be back. And I was thinking today when I was reading the scriptures for the week, I came across a very interesting story about how life can change after an encounter with God, and how sometimes getting away, you can still find ways to encounter God. And when we encounter God, or when God encounters us, we are left changed, sometimes limping. And that's the story for the day out of Genesis chapter 32. Story of Jacob, how Jacob gets his new name, and how Jacob gets a permanent limp after an encounter with a man, an angel, with God. And this is the story out of Genesis 32. Jacob got up during the night, took his 2 wives, his 2 women servants, and his 11 sons, and he crossed the Jabbok River's shallow water. He took them and everything that belonged to him, and he helped them cross the river. But Jacob stayed apart by himself, and a man wrestled with him until dawn broke. When the man saw that he couldn't defeat Jacob, he grabbed Jacob's thigh, and he tore a muscle in Jacob's thigh as he wrestled with him. The man said, "Let me go, because dawn is breaking." But Jacob said, "I will not let you go until you bless me." He said to Jacob, "What is your name?" And he replied, "Jacob." Then he said, "Your name won't be Jacob any longer, but Israel, because you struggled with God and with men, and you won." Jacob also asked and said, "What is your name?" But this man said, "Why do you ask for my name?" And he blessed Jacob there. Jacob named the place Peniel, because I have seen God face to face, and my life has been saved. The sun rose as Jacob passed Penuel, limping because of his thigh. It's a weird story. It's an interesting story. Names mean a lot to the Hebrew people at that time. Names became identified and connected to an experience, an encounter with God, something good or something bad. And what I hear in here again is this: when your life becomes interwoven with God's life, you change. Anytime that we have an encounter with God, it's impossible to walk away from it unchanged. And in this story, Jacob didn't even walk away from it. Jacob limped away from it. And in this story is some very interesting symbolism that I think I just want to riff on for a moment with us. And first and foremost is why this name. Let me start even further back. What's the deal with a blessing? Why is it that of all the things that Jacob could have asked for, why did he want a blessing? And I think if we really sat and thought about this, what is the most important thing that we could receive in our lives? A lot of times in our consumerist society, we'd say money or things or security or whatever. But really, don't we all deep on the inside want someone to bless us for who we are, to speak good to us, to share a bright future for us, to state our name, to know us? And this is what Jacob was ultimately asking for. I want you. You're different. You're special. Who you are, I don't fully know. I don't even know your name, but I know that you're different. I want you to change me. I want you to bless me. I want you to speak truth, good truth about me. I don't want to leave this encounter the same. I want to leave this encounter better. And so by asking for this blessing, he's asking for something that's rare. Pour yourself out into me. Let yourself be known to me. And please know me for who I am. Change me into something good. And so Jacob is having this wrestling match, and it goes all the way until dawn. And this angel that we later find out asks his name, and Jacob responds, "My name is Jacob." And which it's an interesting play on words that Jacob could mean wandering, limping, even. He staggers. And so the angel said, "Your name's not Jacob anymore, it's going to be Israel." And see, that's where the people get their name, the nation of Israel. They get their name with this man who wrestled with God. He became identified as the one who wrestled with God. And when I was a kid, that used to set off really negative connotations. But I think what it means is an honest engagement with God. Really, that's what you want? Are you sure that's what you want? Why are you asking this of me? It's difficult. And there was a contending. There wasn't an abusiveness in that. It was a, God, be for sure what it is that we're doing. This is my will. What is your will? And they wrestled together. And God won. It says in here that Israel will be named this because you struggled with God and men and won. Did he win? He walked away with a permanent limp. What he won was a blessing. What he won was a new name, a new identity, a change. He didn't win based upon his own might. God had a purpose and a plan for him, and that resulted in a new name. A new name is a people now in which we're grafted into, in which we are known as people who wrestle with God, authentic engagement with God. But when Jacob, now called Israel, tries to ask for his name, the angel, the Lord, doesn't respond. You don't need to know that. That's not what's important. You got your blessing. Jacob then names this place, "I've seen God," Peniel. And the sun rose, and Jacob walked on, and he limped because of his thigh. And this is how it is sometimes when we ask God to bless us. We want to encounter God. We want to get away for a vacation. And we end up with an alternate encounter, a different type of experience, not the one that we had hoped, but the one that we got. And it can become a blessing. It can become something that defines us and gives us a new name. So Crossgates, as we enter into this week, I invite you to look at your life, to look at experiences that have happened, and also look at times when you have had a deep and rich encounter with God, and go back and look and see how much your life has been disrupted, how much you have been limping because of that encounter. Limping not because God injured you, but because when we encounter God and we engage in an honest wrestling with God, we end up winning because God changes us. And God reminds us who God is. And God reminds us who we are and gives us a new name to prove it. Let's engage this week knowing that God is with us. We are not alone. That the Spirit of Christ lives and dwells within us because of Jesus' faithfulness to us. So be those kind of people. As you go into the world, be safe, but share the light of Christ, because I see Christ in you.